Guests so far: Roger,
Staar Mark Maitland,
Jacky Pete,
Judge Jules,
chapter and verse,
Lloyd Nwagboso, Schak, James Dexter. What a lineup.
Like Roger burning down the forest is something that sticks in there.
You talked about that for quite a while after that episode, I remember. Yeah, Jules, very down to earth, no ego, and loved that. He was just really authentic and raw. He had a successful business. He had all the cars, all the houses, all that shit. And he just went, that it's not about this. I'm going to do what I want to do. I left there being like, I was actually really motivated at that point. It was a real kick up the arse.
Lloyd was very relatable for me because of the circumstances and situation of what he described. And what I like is Schak's a listener as well.
He wanted to know our opinion on how we can encourage people with different opinions and ideas to talk.
We jumped on the live call. Remember, there was me, you, Harry, Stu, and again, just to outline what we're talking about with the statistics, 4 of us on a call, 2 of us knew somebody who sadly taken their own life that week.
Yeah, that week.
Both men. So it's this is real stuff, and if there's anything that can come out of these conversations to help people to reach out and we can all help each other, then so be it. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the support so far on this project. It means the absolute world to us.
However, we've noticed that around 75% of you who listen and watch the show haven't yet hit the subscribe or like button.
So in order for this community to grow and allow us to build this project, we have a small request from you.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app that you're listening or watching this show. Your commitment... What were you laughing at? I did a really good job, didn't I? Right, do another one. Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're watching or listening this show. Listening this show.
Remember to smile.
I'm always smiling.
You weren't.
Was I not? Stop it. Kelly's fucking waiting for us outside, bro.
Composed. Right, let's do it.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're listening to or watching this fucking show. Right, come on, just one more. Please hit the subscribe or like button. Your commitment is our commitment.
Let's do this.
Fuck off. Come on, more.
Yeah, I'm not going to cheeseball it up, but I'll go, let's do this.
That'll do. We're rolling. Right, I'll do it now.
We're rolling again. Go for it.
ASMR people all over going, fucking min that.
Pop them
Do
cameras.
another one. Do another one. No, don't. You made this fucking red arrow thing and it's a bit too uniform for me, if I'm honest.
Tensing with tensing.
Oh, we've done that one.
Going. Yeah, we've done that one.
Right. Episode 10.
Yep.
We're in. Fucking hell.
So, guess so far.
Guess so far, wow.
So let's see if we can remember. Roger.
Staar Mark Maitland.
Jacky Pete.
Judge Jules.
Oh, the other way around. Judge Jules then. No,
Jacky Pete.
Yeah,
Judge Jules.
Chapter and verse.
Lloyd Nwagboso. Come on, this
Schak.
is... Yeah. Schak.
Terminator 2. Bush.
And James Dexter.
James Dexter.
Fucking what a lineup. What a lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, those some guys who I'd actually spoke to before and had a conversation outside the podcast, some who had just touched base with since we started this project. For example, I mean, let's go from the top actually. Because I know Roger Sanchez was a special one for both of us, but especially for you because you've been a long-term Roger Sanchez fan for, I think you said to me, this is how you characterized it. You said, I followed Roger Sanchez around the world for 20 years.
Yeah. 23 years to be exact.
Yeah.
2000, 2001, me and Mish walked into Pasha, but it was a special one. And it's funny, James Parker voice noted.
Big up,
both of us.
Big up Parker.
Down in Australia. Obviously Parker's now a DJ full-time and producer. Took a lot of inspiration from it, but for me, with the Roger one, it was super wicked sitting in this room and obviously getting the privilege to ask him some questions and his take on a lot of things, particularly longevity and some of the questions that you were asking around that, because I know when you was a DJ, you look back and some of the questions I couldn't have sustained that from your angle When you ask someone like Roger, who's been doing it nearly 4 decades, it's like boom. And for me, the burning down the forest is something that sticks in there.
You talked about that for quite a while after that episode, I remember.
Yeah, because I get it. And like what he said about gaining clarity. Again, you know, this happens, and we were talking earlier about some comments and phrases that I've heard these artists and guests that we've had on so far. Everything comes in cycles, you know, and burning down the forest and gaining clarity, that kind of thing. So for me, that's definitely something from that show and episode that sticks in my mind.
Well, yeah, Roger and Jordan said the same thing.
Yeah,
being of service, and I'm a servant. I thought that was special because you are seeing similar traits in all of these artists, the ones that are doing it for the right reasons. That's another thing that Roger touched upon is loving the process and not doing it for the end result, but doing it because I love this. I love the industry. I love everything about it, and being immersed in it for the process and not just for the end reward, which is playing to however many thousand people or the accolades, any of that. It's actually how you're getting from A to B, the bit in the middle. And that resonated with me because when I was doing it and I was on the road, I was just looking for the party and looking for that external, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? The external...
like the validation.
Validation, yeah.
Like validation.
No, it is validation. Yeah. External validation at the gigs or posting a track and everyone loving it. You know, I was craving that, where I was forgetting about the process of how you got from that point. So when you get in the studio making the track, I was making the track to get the chart position. I wasn't not focused. I wasn't enjoying that process. So yeah, that resonated for me. The doing it because I love everything about the game, and you've got to, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it well. You've got to love everything about it, not just getting to the end goal. So yeah, that was an important part for the Roger Sanchez episode for me. The next one, Staar Mark Maitland, which was amazing. I'd never actually sat down with them boys before. We'd maybe had some back and forth on social media, but I'd never sat down. I didn't even know Mark was a Geordie or from the Northeast. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first time I sat down with those boys, and comes back again, we were talking about it before, about community. I fell out of love with making music because it was very insular. I would sit in a spare room of my house with my headphones on, trying to force out some records so I can get a position, so I could get a release on my own. And all they talked about the whole time was the Star Player project they've got going on, and getting people in a room, and how Motown Records, when Motown was started, and they got people in a house, and that's how the best music, this is, to quote Tom, this is how the best music is made. This is how the best music has always been made, in groups of people, in communities, in groups. And that resonated with me a lot. And so, yeah, that was what I took out of that one.
Yeah, it was the same for me. With that one, obviously, I wasn't able to attend physically that show in particular, but watching it from afar and obviously behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of the editing with the content and stuff. But when I watched that episode, that's the first thing that I've taken from it, because we've been having a lot of conversations very recently in the past the book and the recommendations. I recommended a book to you by Johan Hari called Lost Connections, which is all about obviously how we are now in the modern world, in the Western world in particular. But one of the running themes is this whole thing about community and when we work together, what we can achieve. And I think for me, watching that episode and listening to what Star Player is as a concept, there's no coincidence that these guys are getting people in a studio, in a villa, in Esquibels, in Ibiza, which is unbelievable scenery as it is. But their creativity levels are elevated tenfold or whatever it might be. The unity in community is what I took from that, and look at the results that they're getting. So I know at some point maybe we're going to be dipping down to see it live in action or whatever, but already some of the clips that I've seen on the social media platforms and the concepts and everything behind it, I just think it's wicked. I think it's really good.
Yeah. They smashed it. Next one. Who's next?
Next one was Judge Jules.
Yeah. Why?
I'm bad.
Jordan Pete.
Oh yeah, Jordan Pete. Sorry, Judge Jules is next.
Yeah.
Wow. From me, again, I'll jump in on this one real quick and keep it nice, short and snappy. But for me, super genuine guy. Really, really open with his journey so far. And on the actual episode itself, I know there was some not surprises, but some assumptions maybe that people wondered why Jordan had his hiatus, because I know there was a lot of things mixed in there. But I just think he was. It was a very, very inspiring, and currently today, that episode's live, and the social media stuff's gone out, and there's been a real good response in terms of people reaching out, commenting, showing support, showing love, and ultimately that's a big driver to why we're doing this kind of thing, is just allowing people to come on and have them kind of conversations. And I know for Jordan, instantly, I wasn't on that show, but I just messaged him, reached out and said, thanks so much, mate. Your story was very, very inspiring. Life is tough at times for sure, but Jordan's an example for anybody who's a young aspiring artist, producer, DJ, whatever, that sometimes, you're going to get them bumps in the road, so to speak, but you push for your passion where it can be. And I know Jordan, he's excelling even more now, but a very, very touching episode that touched a lot of people, and it was a lot of support was put back there, but great story.
Yeah, I was lost for words at points in that episode, because, like I said on the episode, I said, "Sorry, mate, I didn't know any of this," and he was like, "Well, why would you? We haven't had that conversation." He's never opened up about that, and that's testament to his character as well. He's not sat on social media going, "Oh, woe me," and any of that, attention seeking, which you can see, and I have seen on numerous occasions. He's just getting his head down and cracking on, and he's not letting anything get in his way. Even an illness that he knows he's got, he doesn't give a fuck.
No,
he's just getting his head down and like,
yeah,
I'll take the opportunities that come. And he's also grafting. He said, that's another thing he said that I'll take out of that episode. He said, "I don't think I'm the most talented person. I think I'm just one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet."
Exactly.
And that is true. To me, that's true for Jordan, because when I was at uni starting out, I was not in music, starting out at uni, I was like 22, I went late at 21. He was releasing tracks, and everyone in the house parties in Newcastle was playing his tunes, right? Then he had that hiatus, but at that point he was gigging, he was touring and stuff, and he's had that 7-year hiatus, and he's come back stronger than ever. And the biggest artists in the world are supporting his tracks. Eats Everything, Patrick Toppin, probably there's numerous huge artists.
Sam Divine, Divine Sound.
Yeah,
he's been doing. Yeah,
but the support he's getting is incredible, and he's not taking no for an answer. I think he said that. That's another thing he was talking about in the podcast, is like sending records to the labels, getting rejected. Second record to labels, getting rejected. Oh, I'll take that one. It's just a numbers game, right? And it's persistence and not giving up. So if anyone can take anything out of that, it's don't fucking give up and never take no for an answer.
No, definitely. And bouncing back as well. Do you know what I mean? 7 years is a long time.
It's a long time, man.
Yeah.
Huge. Like 7 years. Man, I kind of not... The tunes, like, the funny thing is, Jordan's tunes that he was making in 2011, 2012, still bang now. Like the sound, he's adjusted his sound now in terms of like just what he likes to make. He also said that he was sending me tunes maybe 6 months ago. I was saying, please send me some new stuff, and he's staying true to himself. They might have evolved a little bit because he's evolved a little bit. He's grown as a person in 10 years since he started releasing tunes for the first time. But he's staying true to his sound and his passion, and I love that. I love his passion. He was amazing, really good guest, and yeah. Lovely guy as well, proper gent. Next, Judge Jules. Finally,
we got there.
We got there. Yeah, Jules was a big one for me, and I actually felt a little bit nervous for that one, if I'm honest.
Fanboy.
I did. I even said when I sat down, I said I'm probably gonna fanboy a little bit. Like I almost prefaced the podcast with it because I'm sorry. I've been following you ever since I can remember. Like when I was in my trance days, and I used to listen to trance when I was in my teens. Obviously, Radio 1 resident, Judgment Sundays. It was part of being when I was a worker in 2012.
Biggest party in San Antonio.
Biggest party, Eden. It was Eden. It was Eden. Judgment Sundays was Eden, and that conversation was incredible. And I love the fact that even now he doesn't have a singular focus. He's got his DJ stuff, which he does when he can. He also works abroad, so he has his sound advice business, which is his legal practice. So he's got fingers in pies. He's obviously got the publishing down. He's got his artist stuff down. He's got his performance down. He's got the legal practice down. He's got this. He's created this octopus, which I've heard a couple of times. I think Mark Knight said that to me in a conversation. He said, "Create your octopus. Don't just have one singular thing where a lot of people, like I did, I just focused on performance and gigging." And that was important because he's not a spring chicken anymore. Sorry, Jules, but you're not a spring chicken anymore. But he's still out there too, and he's still getting paid very good money. But he's also doing all these other things to make sure that he's got his foundation sorted. And yeah, it was really inspirational for me. And it was just amazing to sit down with someone. He was very down to earth, no ego, and loved that. He was just really authentic and raw. So yeah.
Yeah,
really good one. What did you?
Yeah,
so again, I know you couldn't be there for that one again.
Yeah, I wasn't there for it. So watching it from afar, it's great as well because obviously I'm seeing it with fresh eyes and ears for the first time. But for me, I know obviously Jules he's been in the game at a similar time frame to like the likes of Roger Sanchez, and when you look at the comparisons of both of them two, you can see they've been through the transitional period where DJing back in the day was not like it is now. You know, technology's advanced and changed and stuff. And with Jules in particular, I remember what he said in the show was that my job at the end of the day is to make you have the best night of your week. And when he positioned it like that, I remember watching it. You was like, wow, that's a great way of kind of putting it. And I might be wrong with the numbers, but he said how many gigs he's still doing, and he's doing like 60 gigs or something.
A lot.
Yeah, which basically every weekend he's gigging all over the world, wherever, and then he's going back and he's doing his sound advice business. And I didn't know what he said. I think he said he was living in Mallorca or wherever, and he commutes between the both. But yeah, just unbelievable. Again, inspirational, and shows the longevity in the business. The passion is there, and again, we'll talk about that more as we get on. But it's that ikigai. It's that. But that purpose, that point of doing why they're still doing, and like flipping back to what Roger was saying, and you could hear it in Jules when he said that about making the best night of the week for people is that in the moment. Yeah, so not looking forward, not looking backwards or whatever, just being in the moment, present with it, and delivering a set. And that's what I've taken from Jules. So really, really good episode again.
It's another way of saying being of service, though.
Exactly.
I'm making sure you're having a good night at the end of the week. Roger's saying, I'm a servant to you, which is basically me. I'm here for you. Jordan, I'm here. I'm here as a servant. They were all saying the same thing, just different ways. And again, similar traits of all these really nice, genuine, successful people. So yeah, that's one take out of that. The next one's a juicy one, chapter and verse.
Chapter and verse.
Yes,
Barry.
Baz.
Go on, Barry.
Big Baz, lad. He was fucking class.
Oh.
Do you want to kick off with Baz? Because I know you loved him.
Yeah. I mean,
I did too.
Yeah,
I definitely did too. It wasn't just him, mate. You're all right.
Yeah, I'm already tapping him up to go and see him down at Ushuaia when he's playing down there. But yeah,
watch your words.
Message Barry quite a bit. Message him on WhatsApp and through Instagram. But yeah, no, really, really interesting. I never expected that story to unfold. Obviously, before we did the episode, obviously I had a bit of his background knowledge and stuff. But when he was talking about being in the army, leaving the army, then being a traffic officer, then cheating the test and all the rest of it, just mega interesting. And just for me. You always perceive that DJs, but like, for example, look at Jules' story. He was at college or university, Roger, and anybody you kind of speak to, most of the time, I say the cookie cutter kind of story is, I touched the set of decks, and the minute I touched them, that was it. I wanted to be a DJ, and I went to uni and all the rest of it. And Barry's like, his story, chapter and verse is totally different. And again, running his own business and successfully,
very successful business.
But it got to the point where he was just like not really floating his boat, so to speak, and he wasn't he changed. It wasn't his ikigai clearly, but he just turned around and said, "I'm going to be a DJ," and I just think, wow, what a story. And, he's doing it. And again, going back to what Jordan said, going back to what, all the guests that we're seeing on here so far, share all that, passion, the love, but the work. And he's working all the time. You know, like you said, he's produced 120 odd tracks that have been released on labels. He's got 500 just sat there on his computer at home or whatever. So for me, mega story. And again, really funny, interesting guy.
Really funny guy, yeah. For me, Barry's words around how did he put it? He was basically like, someone said to me, "You're 39, you're gonna be a DJ."
Yeah.
That gave me more hunger to do it. Like, fuck you, of course I'll do it. He doesn't give a. He said, I think he's also said, it wouldn't matter what it was. If I want to be a pianist, or I want to be something, it wouldn't matter. Learn to play a violin. I'll fucking be the best violin player in the world.
Yeah.
He's got that such a strong belief in his ability to do whatever he wants to do. That was powerful, that, because I was sat there like, you know, when you see these videos on Instagram and it's like, you can be whatever you want to be, and you know, when you grow up you can do whatever you want, you just got to put your mind to it, and you got to, you know, have a focus. It was like, you could see it.
Yeah. He
had a successful business. He had all the cars, all the houses, all that shit, and he just went, fuck that, it's not about this, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And he's gone and done it. That's it.
In
like,
5 years.
Yeah, less. And now he's got some of the biggest, the biggest artists or the biggest celebrity DJs in the world, like as in celebrity status DJs in the world, i.e. Steve Aoki, coming to him for music.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's no small thing. Like, he's gone and just done something that people have been working 20 years to do and not had a chance, not had the slightest shaven of success he's had. So for me, it really, I know this again sounds cliche, but you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Yeah. Barry, obviously there's limitations, but he has proven. Also, look at Jordan. Jordan has an illness which is to the layperson, you know, who hasn't got like I'd say a terminal illness, but a really serious lung infection.
Yeah, lifelong.
Lifelong infection. You know, you can't get rid of that. He doesn't give a fuck. He's gone, I'll do what I want to do anyway. Barry, obviously different circumstances, but very similar. Wasn't about the money, it wasn't about the success, it was about what he wanted to do and his passion. He's passionate about music and he's become a DJ, and now he's touted all over the world as being one of the best producers in EDM. It's fucking amazing. So yeah, big up Baz. And also just a fucking great guy, like funny as fuck.
Yeah,
top.
Wicked. But like I said, for me, what I took from that, because I was having a conversation that very week with my sponsor in Ibiza, and he's doing music production at the minute, and he mentioned something about, like, you know, it's never too late to pursue your dreams. He just said that one line, and you see all these motivational videos on YouTube, and this is why I was going to say, you just touched over it with Jordan. You know, you see Will Smith when he's talking about, you know, you get me on that treadmill and I'll outrun anybody. Yeah. I'm the hardest working guy in the room.
I remember that, yeah.
And you see all these Hollywood and famous people on YouTube, and you see these videos of people far away, and it is motivational. But when you sat in the studio and we're sat here recording this, we're all different. I know we're all the same, but it's a bit more grassroots and a bit more like, this is not somebody who's a Hollywood actor, you know, on the other side of the globe. This is somebody who's where was he? Doncaster. Barry was from Doncaster. Just, boom, I'm going to be a DJ at 39. So yeah, you know, super inspirational. But the hard work ethic is there. You know.
Yeah, I can't agree anymore. That's kind of what I was trying to say, is scrolling on Instagram or TikTok and seeing a black and white faded video of Denzel Washington with some emotional music behind the scenes, right? Okay, fine. You still get something from that.
Yeah.
Sitting in the same room as Barry, chapter and verse, with him going, I want it to be a DJ, you can do whatever the fuck you want. If I want to be the best I'm sure it was violin player or something daft he said, I'll be the best in the world.
Probably both with Barry.
Yeah, but you're seeing it. It's not, he's not coming here and it's not just all talk. He's done it. He's got receipts. He's come in, he's got the t-shirt, and he sat there going, this is what I've done. I left there being like, I was actually really motivated at that point. Give us a real kick up the arse, and I think I've got quite a lot of energy myself, but you feed off that energy in the same room.
Yeah.
Although I almost fell through the wall. Was it you who fell through the wall? Was it? Oh, I thought it was him. It was that episode though, wasn't it?
No, it was the Schak one. It was that episode where Barry told us that he made a guy disappear.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. when he made that guy disappear off the stage in EDC. Oh my God.
It turned out he didn't make him disappear. He just like fell the height of a house.
Can imagine just a silhouette on the floor, like fucking.
But he was all right. For anybody concerned, he was all right.
For that.
And it was a pivotal change for Barry in his career, because now he's smashing it.
This episode is sponsored by Digital Ibiza Rentals, the go-to crew for all your needs in Ibiza. Digital have been the lead concierge service in Ibiza since 2016, and there's a pretty good reason for that too. It's not because they have lovely hair or because they're well-mannered lads. Actually, why are they the best?
It's in the script. They're paying us to say that.
Oh, awkward. Anyway, listen, if you go into Ibiza and you need yachts, villas, private transfers, car hire, club tickets, guest list, or even helicopters, Digital has you covered. And these guys specialise in DJ equipment and sound systems. Listeners of this show get 20% off their first use of the service.
Just quote Bear Chat on checkout and get 20% off.
So head over to their Instagram at Digital Ibiza Rentals or to their website, digitalibiza-rentals.com, and quote
Bear Chat
to get 20% off. By the way, invites to villa parties are welcomed. Nice one. Next, I'm going to let you start on this one because I know that it was quite a deep one for you, actually. And you had a look at the connection with his experience in lockdown. So
yeah, I mean, Lloyd, I knew of Lloyd because Paris is a friend of mine, and obviously Paris and Lloyd are friends as well, and obviously we're in very similar circles. But I'd never met Lloyd before, and just before we came in to do the episode, I was like, "Where's Lloyd?" Looked down the street, I was like, "That's definitely got to be Lloyd," because he's like that big, his eyes that light. But yeah, no, wicked, really, really good story, and again, just for me, you know, during COVID and being in Bali was one of the biggest places locked down, but then asking, you know, some more questions. This is what I like about doing Bear Chat and doing it in this room and sitting here. You know, you just ask questions and to understand people at a bit more of a deeper level. And for me, when we asked Lloyd, I asked him what was his darkest, kind of toughest period or whatever, and he elaborated on it. Turned out that his father passed away the very, very same period during COVID and stuff. And for Lloyd to come back from that, and, you know, again, for me, just as all the guests have been mega inspiring, but Lloyd was very relatable for me because of the circumstances and situation of what he described and what had gone on for him personally. And for me, you know, just I know it can get dark at them stages, and nothing but respect, you know, and for Lloyd to be doing what he's doing now, and the fact he was saying every Monday I'm in the gym, that's my kind of barometer of what I'm doing, regardless of if I've had a late night, you know, and he's travelling all over the world now. I think I've seen just this week alone, he was in like New York, LA, and somewhere else.
Well, this is another thing about getting on here. I give him some dates, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm in three countries that week or three cities." I was like, "Fuck," you know. He's traveling like a touring artist would, because he's, you know, with Defected. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, really nice, really, really top, genuine guy, and just fair play to him and keep it going. You know, like what everybody said. You know, working really hard. He didn't take no for an answer. Yeah. You know, he asked people, and the key in that episode for me was also relatable, because I'd never done it up until very recently, is ask for help. And when Lloyd said that, and he explained what happened in his life and how things changed, that's similar to what's happened for me, not from a career aspect or monetary aspect on my side of the fence, but the same is these things will come around because you're showing your vulnerability, but you're showing that I need help, and as human beings, that's kind of what we do and what we've always done. So I think when he said that, it was super powerful. But so yeah, the Lloyd one for me was super inspirational. And I think the book was, did he recommend Alchemist or something, or did we pass that to him? I can't remember now off the top of my head, but I'm sure
The Alchemist was in.
I'm sure we gave him Ikigai, and he recommended The Alchemist.
That was number 2.
So it spun back around. Yeah. So yeah. How about you, for Lloyd?
Well, you've just paraphrased the whole fucking episode, so I've got nothing left. We just move on.
Ian Beale. I've got nothing left.
No, the help thing resonated with me quite a lot, because it's something that I never did, and I kind of suffered in silence for quite some time. Other things, you know, in my personal life, and through the lockdowns, it became very clear that I needed to speak to someone. You know, I've had all sorts of different therapists in trying different things, and it helped massively. Just so opening up, asking for help, and you could see how excited he was when he said he was excited, but also very serious when he said, when I asked for help, everything changed. He reached out. He reached out to someone at Defected, and they give him the opportunity, and now look what he's doing. And he opened up, and that's one thing as humans I think we don't do. Not just as men, but as humans, we don't open up and ask for help enough. And I did it from another angle. I was going through some shit, whether it was to do with my drink and drug intake or, you know, the partying I was doing and all that stuff. And I think might have spoke to Eleanor first, and then obviously it was the all sorts of different types of therapy, which has been invaluable. I think everyone should do therapy at least once or try it. I think everyone should do it. But yeah, so asking for help for me, that one was a key point. And yeah, big up Lloyd. He's smashing it. I'm really proud of him. Right, we move on to the next one. You know who this is.
I know who it is, but I touched over Lloyd first, so I'm going to let you jump on this one first.
Okay. Yeah, stop hogging all the fucking guests. Give us a chance. Right, I'm going to mention every single thing out of this episode. You want fuck all left.
I bet you don't.
No, I bet I don't. You've been speaking also loads after the podcast as well.
Same again.
Okay, so next episode was Schak.
My man.
Yeah, Schak was incredible guest. One thing I took out of that, the most important thing I took out of that is, no pun intended, but don't judge a book by its cover. Not that I do, but I saw the Schak on social media and the very extrovert, loud, energetic Schak. That's how he's portrayed himself on his social media. He does come on and talk in FaceTime videos, but he's a loud guy, and he's very out there. But when you sit down with him, when we sat over the road and had a coffee with him prior to the episode, different person altogether. Very, very deep thinker, very knowledgeable, very, very smart. Not that I didn't think he was smart, but you know, you don't get an idea of what someone's like on their Instagram profile, you know. And I feel like as I was in that industry for some time, I created a persona for myself. I created a brand. I was this daft, silly dickhead with fucking curly hair, doing daft videos and trying to get likes. And you almost believe that that's who you are off camera. Now I'm thinking about it now more. I never even thought about this until now, but I'm thinking like I almost convinced myself that that's who I was.
Yeah.
Because you know me, like we've known each other for years now, and I'm not the person that I was trying to portray on social media, and Schak is that person. Schak is a completely different person off camera. Great guy, very genuine. We come back to mine with us for a barbecue afterwards, and he came. We broke bread and we had a great time. Very respectable. I couldn't get fucking a word in with you two. You were just sat in the corner of the kitchen like a fucking afters, but just with like glasses of smack. I come in. He's got my dog on his lap, but cups of sparkling water instead of tinnies.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell, I took a picture. It looks like an after party at fucking 6 a.m. on a Sunday. But yeah, overall, just great guest, lovely guy, and I think he's going to be one to watch for sure on the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. For me, with Schak, the conversation lit up immediately. I don't know if you'll remember, but when we was on the train coming down, I said to you, Schak's gonna be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I remember.
That's all I said. Just because of from the outside looking in on his social media, obviously the stuff with the Mario Kart, you know, driving down the street and doing gigs in crazy locations, and the Greg stuff. And you showed me, I was like, what? And I was watching Greg's go off, and I was picturing it, thinking, imagine doing that on Deansgate in Manchester.
Yeah. CO2 cannons and that fucking. I remember seeing that video at the start, right, and going, oh, already it looks mint. Greg's is full. He's got all the Greg's kit on, and all of a sudden you just see this. He just pulls his fucking gun out. He's like, bah! It's fucking cool. It's like, no, you don't think the rave can get any better, and he just puts a fucking CO2 cannon in people's face. But yeah, mate, like top guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no. That was the perception, which is why I said it'll be an interesting conversation. What conversation was to come, I didn't know, obviously, because we'd not had it. But when we was in Black Sheep before coming in here, again, instantly the conversation just set off like a drag car, boom, and I was just listening to Schak, and then he was listening to me and you or whatever. And what I like is Shaq's a listener as well, and even though we touched over certain subject matter and we might have had a difference of an opinion on something, I remember Schak sitting there and going, oh, I've actually never thought about it like that. And you know, he's very, very open and I think he said stimulating conversation on the train and something that engages him, and he's very open to listening. Shaq's not the kind of guy who just thinks that what he knows is what he knows. He's read a lot of books, and obviously the thing that I'll take from that episode is the relationship he's got with his mother.
Yeah.
I wanted to meet his mum. You know what I mean? When he was talking, and his favourite movie is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, so boom, straight away. And that's when you were sat there and you went, what
the fuck?
I don't believe it. But yeah, kept in touch with Schak, and when he's over my way, I messaged him 2 days ago, actually. Go out for a hike. But yeah, no, super inspiring. Does a lot of stuff for the charity with kids and that, going talking in schools. And just somebody that I see is very, very self-aware, but aware of the universe at large. And when we touched over the Creamfields video that I'd seen, and I mentioned it to him, just very open about the emotion and that, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? He's had the backing of his mother. He's had a few cards dealt for himself where, some people out there, they have a different perspective. His perspective is very, very strongly rooted because of the belief that his mother has instilled in him, and you can see that. But for Schak to go through that journey and have that moment where he put the vocals over the track and thanked people, that gratitude and everything that just came from within, he said he just couldn't control it. And rightly so. He's a beautiful guy and a human being who I could sit and talk to him for hours, as we did, back at yours and stuff. So unbelievable guest, super interesting conversation, and I'm sure we might do a 3-hour special at some point.
Oh, we'll get him back. Yeah, conspiracy episode. No, they're just off the back of that, the listening was something that I forgot to mention. There's a couple of things he said. Well, one thing he did repetitively, which I thought was mint, because not a lot of people do that, is you said something, or you'd say, you make a comment, and you'd think about it, and he'd go, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Or he wanted you to, he wanted to understand. It didn't matter if he didn't get embarrassed about not understanding something. He'd stop you and go, sorry, can you keep going? Like, can you elaborate? And the other thing he said on the train on the way back, I know you guys were locked in. I was on a couple of work calls, but you guys were locked in, and I came back and sat down. And he sat down. No, we were sat down, sorry. And he said, can I ask you both a question? And I was like, yeah. We were like, yeah. He said, what can we do in the world to encourage debate? Because he understands and he sees all this left-right arguing political bullshit and social, even forget about the politics, just social media at large, and everyone's at each other's heads, and everyone's so, batten down the hatches on their ideas, on the ideology. And he wanted to know our opinion on how we can encourage people with different opinions and ideas to talk. And I thought that I didn't really have an answer for it, but it was just great to see that he had that perspective. He wanted people to talk who didn't agree. That's something we don't do. Yeah. Especially with, being protected by keyboards and screens on our phones. We can say whatever the fuck we want with no repercussions, essentially, to a degree. And yeah, we're living in a society, I feel, that is just constant battling with people we don't know online, and to no end, So yeah, that was something that I was impressed with by him. Really, 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 really impressive guy. And last but not least, Mr. Dexter. James Dexter, I'll let you go.
I'll jump in with James Dexter. Yeah, mega. They all are. We keep saying mega interesting. All of them are, and that's why it's such a privilege to be doing this for me. And I just love it. I love conversation. I love listening. And for me, James, super business minded. Even though he was very, very reserved about talking about himself, he's very, very humble, very, very kind of feet on the ground. And I remember asking him something, or saying something along the lines of, what made you have a record label? Because you've gone from being a guy who entered a DJ competition and failed on the first one, went back and obviously came second. And then you're DJing, you're traveling and all the rest of it. And you've got your own label. I remember asking him, and he said he's got events and things now that he's about to start doing, but he doesn't look too far forward.
Yeah.
He's not interested in what's kind of to come. And again, going back to, let's tie it in, Roger said the same thing. Chapter and Verse was talking about it. Jordan Peak said the iceberg thing is this thing about being in the moment. And James was very much, I don't look too far down the line, I just look for now. So I really took that away from James. And I think the unbelievable balance that he's got with his relationship I think he said with his missus, and he's got a dog. He's not got kids, and everywhere he goes. And I picked up on it, but you jumped on it straight away when I go for a run. And I was going to go, what makes you go for a run? Because these are the things that we read about in books and that we kind of know through our own personal journeys. And we talk about this thing. And for anybody out there that's listening to this episode now, is there's a base platform that a lot of people who want to do something, put exercise and well-being kind of up there at the start of the day, and it has a knock-on effect with everything else. And James touched over that, and then when we asked him, and everywhere he goes when he's touring, he'll go for a run. So for me, James was super humble, really, really feet on the ground, and I know Roger said it. He's a train spotter. Jordan Pete said I'm a nerd.
Yeah. I think Roger also said he's a nerd.
Roger said he's a nerd.
Yeah.
And Jordan Pete said I think you've got to be quite nerdy.
Yeah.
Judge Jules said the same thing. I'm a bit of a geek or whatever. It's the same thing. And James Dexter, he was saying kind of the same thing. He puts himself in his studio. He can't really make tracks when he's traveling, but he locks himself in his studio. But very, very organised and business focused. James Dexter, and he's not a Roger Sanchez or a Judge Jules who's been doing it 30-40 years. He's been doing it a while, but James Dexter for me has got the advancement of somebody who's been in the game for 40 years. Super inspirational, and I just loved hearing how he balances everything and his routine and what he does to maintain what he's doing and keep going. Wicked guy. Yeah,
the routine resonated with me quite a lot, because that's one thing that's helped me in my life, every aspect of my life since not being in that industry, is having a schedule, having a routine, and doing exactly the same thing. And when I'm out of my routine, it fucks me. It fucks with my head. Even if I don't do one thing out of it, it fucks me. So, and he was very much focused on that. I've got to do this. I go for my run. I get in the studio. I do X, Y, and Z, and that's how he's consistent. It's consistency at its best. The main thing I took out of the James Dexter one was staying true to his sound. So James Dexter has stayed true to his sound forever. Yeah, he's and we talked about it, I think, about music going around in cycles, but he hasn't gone with the cycles. He's just stuck with his guns the whole way, and that's why he's got longevity, and that's now why he's gigging all over South America, and that sound is so big in South America right now, and he's there all the time, and it's because he's stuck to his guns from the start. And obviously the label, I always say this wrong, Inermu, I think it's Inermu.
Inermu, yeah.
Now he's releasing music when he wants to put music out on his label. So he's got control, which is, again, another arm of his octopus in terms of the business side of things. Very clever guy, but staying true to his sound was the thing I took out of that, because it's something, again, I'm resonating with all these things, but these are things that I didn't do. I was trying to chase the dragon, so to speak, especially with the music. Trying to jump on what was hot when it wasn't me, and it was kind of forced.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that, and that's why his tracks are hitting. Even though sometimes he probably, and he said it himself, he's seen points in his career where he's probably slumped in terms of performance and gigs because his sound wasn't the hottest sound. It's fucking coming back around now.
Yeah.
And now he's all over the place. So yeah, hats off to him. And that was number 9. Well, actually, it was number 8 because we were number 1.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so.
they're the guests we're up to currently.
What a fucking journey it's been, man. Like, I can't really put into words how grateful I am to have this project now.
I mean, just even giving snapshots of what we've taken from each guest there. This is, by the way, there's no notes. These notes here that I've got these notes are from the books that I've read, which I'll brush over in a second real quick. But them takes from them guests are implanted up there. They're takeaways that you're learning. So the whole point of this project is to just sit and have these conversations. We're in, like we said before, we're in this room. There's no laptops, no phones, no TV, no distractions, and we're talking. And all them guests that we've just run through, look at the excitement that we were getting in each moment of talking about what we're taking away from them. So I believe, and hopefully I'm right, that there are people that are engaged and locked in with the community that we're building so far, and that they're taking the same from it. And I know I've had a lot of messages, and you have as well, and we've had messages come through the various platforms where the content's out there, and it's touching base with a lot of people, and it's nice to just know that, not that it's because we're not doing anything here, we're just catching up and we're putting this together and we're putting a name together and all the rest of it. What's happening? It's the conversation that's going out there. So that's not me or you or even the guest. That's just the conversation going out there into the ether, and it's resonating with people. What they take from it is just really nice to hear. And when you're getting these messages from people based on these episodes so far, I love it, because I'm taking something. Every time I go back and I'm doing a little clip edit to put up on Instagram very recently, or when we're doing the timestamps, I go back and I'm like, wow, man, yeah, he said that, he did this, he did that. There's so much in there. So yeah, for me.
I've just come up with like a little analogy on the spot as you were talking there about how we're not doing anything, we're starting something and then it's going out there. Yeah. I feel like this room, this studio, this project is basically the kindling. And when we get a guest in, the guest is basically lighting that kindling. And as soon as it goes out there, social media and other people messaging us, and as soon as it goes on Spotify and YouTube, whatever channel you listen to your podcast on, that's like someone, like the wind blowing the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting that fire going. And it reaches far and wide. We've had messages of family, of friends, of people who we didn't know, people who have been struggling with X, Y, and Z. And we'll come on to that at the end about trying to build the community in order to create a space where people can be open and share things that they're going through. But for me, the most special thing is being able to be the source of the conversation. Like being able to have to start the conversations that people maybe are afraid to have. I've had messages on my personal Instagram of people who've been on the Bear Chat channel. They've maybe seen a clip, not even listened to an episode, and message me a message like this, right? About their journey. Like, I don't even know these people. And it's beautiful to see that people can feel they can open up and share. Yeah. That's the whole point of this project, is to tell people and to let people understand that it's okay to let your guard down and be vulnerable. What is it we said in the first episode? Oh, it's part of what we do. Being comfortable
to be vulnerable.
To be vulnerable.
Yeah, and just allowing, and for me, all of the episodes have done that in their own way. You know, each question that we've asked the guests that have been on, you know, Roger was talking about burning down the forest. He was talking about a difficult period where he was divorcing his manager and his wife at the same time. You know, Jules was talking about when he was at university college, and I think he said his mother passed away. Yeah. Music saved him at that time because he was locked in and engaged with what he was doing. And in his words, it was a traumatic time, of course. You know, the Jordan Pete one for me really opened up and allowed that conversation to flow. Lloyd, all of them. So in this room, that's going, and then people are relating to it, and that's a good thing. And it's like James Parker messaging us this morning. Yeah. He's in Sydney, Australia, and he's got motivated just by watching the Roger Sanchez episode because he's a DJ producer and it's related to him. You've had somebody who reached out to you, came down to the barbecue when I was there, talked about the men's mental health gathering on a Saturday, doing the ice baths and the breakfast. You know, we've got Tim who's going to be coming down. I'm able to talk about things from my side with my journey, not just in this room, but outside of this room. And even what's been going on between me and you, you know, the conversations that we're having Bear Chat that's not in this room, Bear Chat on the phone when I'm in a beef for your week and I'm saying, how's your day going? You're telling me this week's been tough because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay. And we're bouncing our own perspective on things and we're giving ourselves our own Bear Chat on the phone. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this is all about, and for anybody that's hearing it or seeing it, you know, take it for what it is. You know, it's not no cliche or us just trying to say something that it isn't. It's complete, genuine authenticity of having a conversation and learning from each other. I learned bucket loads off every single guest, and I'm still learning now with my notes when I'm sat on a plane and I'm writing stuff down and I'm listening back to episodes. So hopefully, you know, I'm sure that's passing over to people. But for me, we said at the beginning, where's this going to go? This is episode 10 of me and you catching up, doing a review of 8 guests or 9 guests. I can't believe
we're at fucking episode 10
Yeah, and we're at episode 10. Yeah. And that's not even the books that we've read, you know, which hopefully we've got time to just kind of brush over real quick because I've made a couple of notes of the books that I've read. But I've also got a message that I'll read about somebody who's picked a book up off the back of the past the book, which is just nice to hear.
Yeah, well, off the back of that, I want to just touch on the project that I started working on, which was with a friend in Guildford. He reached out to me and he'd been through a bit of a traumatic time with losing friends. I think we were talking about the stats of suicide. suicide is the biggest killer in men under the age of 46.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
That's today, yeah. That's the stats like today. That's confirmed, yeah.
Right, okay. And from that conversation that he came down and had with you and me that day,
wow,
we've started a men's social club in Guildford, which is 15 minutes from me. We've currently got 23 men in this group. Some who are struggling, some who just wanted to connect with other men. We've had 3 or 4 now, and it's been beautiful. I've met people who are in really interesting jobs. We've done ice baths. We've got people to go and face their fears in the cold who've never done it before, who've been scared of it and overcoming fears around other lads who they never met and connecting with other people. And coming onto that book, I probably haven't got much time to talk about it, but at least one lost. Well, we can't because we've got to bounce. But Lost Connections, which you recommended to me by Johan Hari.
Johan Hari, yeah.
So obviously, I'm going to butcher this, and I know this is one of your favorite books, but one of the things that he's talking about is how the big push on what they call antidepressants originally, and us trying to fill that void, and these medications kind of fill that void. And one of the main reasons that people are trying to find a void is because we've kind of lost, even though we're so connected with these fucking phones and watches and all this shit, we've never been so disconnected from the universe and from other people. And that, even though we've got 23 people in that group, right? The first one we had 15 people come down, okay? A few who knew each other to these social clubs. And I left for 2 hours. We all left there and we were all in the group going, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Great to meet you. We all felt great that weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was going through some of those lads' heads that weekend. They might have, I know some of them were struggling quite a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, from the podcast, we've had one person come down who I also hadn't spoke to in a while. We've created a social club. We're getting men talking to each other. We're getting people to let the barriers down once a week, 2 hours in person. Like we were saying about Barry when Barry's here, there's a different connection, not on your phone, not in the group chat, being in the same room, being in the same vicinity as someone is different. So connecting with other humans is it's already started. We've started this movement.
Yeah, and that's again just touching over what our intentions have been from the beginning with this project, and one of the episodes where you knocked the mic and said, leave it in, it's organic or whatever. But that word keeps presenting itself. But we talk about it a lot about, when you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, so to speak, just let things kind of flow. And again, in Ikigai, that's what they talk about. There's a lot of things that are coming up whilst this project is now building momentum in itself. We're not really trying to do anything with it and force it. We're just allowing it to progress. But things are coming up like this. Yeah. Instantly.
Without effort. No effort.
Yeah, instantly message came down, we had a chat, and then you was down on the Saturday, and then we jumped on the live call. Remember, there was me, you, Harry, Stu, and again, just to outline what we're talking about with the statistics, 4 of us on a call, 2 of us knew somebody who sadly taken their own life that week.
Yeah, that week.
Both men. So it's this is real stuff, and if there's anything that can come out of these conversations to help people to reach out and we can all help each other, then so be it. Do you know what I mean? But what a positive spin, and the group things going together, and they're having breakfast on a Saturday, and it's that community thing again, like we were saying, and in Lost Connections, Johan Hari brushes over that, the disconnect, and like we said, the paradox is we've become very connected in one sense, but that's making people disconnected in another sense.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what this project foundations at the starting point were about. And this is the 10th episode, doing a quick recap and a review, and we've got more guests to come. Where will this build? And we're going to touch over the community stuff. But for me, the Bear Book stuff, the Pass the Book, he was calling it Bear Books.
Yeah, we are going to.
It changed to Pass the Book.
Well, do you know what? Just before you go on to that last bit, I know you want to read something off your phone, which is going to be interesting. But one thing the analogy you use to describe us on this podcast is being sat in an Uber.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Being sat in an Uber and just being a passenger in the back, not knowing what the destination is, but we're just sat in the back and we're just looking out the window like wherever it's going to go, it'll go. And that's what we're doing. We're just passengers. We have no idea. This whole thing happened, no pun intended, organically. It did. And it still is now. It really is now. Everything's happening in front of us and it's just happening naturally. So let's just, let's keep this Uber going.
Yeah, let's definitely keep the Uber going, and I'll touch over real quick before I read the message on the Pass the Book, because it's definitely nice. But for me, the book recommendations that was recommended that you mentioned that I've read, so I can brush over them quick, is the Ikigai book, which got passed on to Lloyd as well, by the guest previous to him, and the 5 a.m. Club. Just for me, you know, how are these blue zones happening, and how are people living to a long age, you know, in I think it's Okinawa, Okinawans 115, 117, having birthday parties celebrating the age of 100. Everybody in the room is over 100. Is community, not stopping, not retiring, diet, and
Purpose.
You know, whatever
Everyone's
it is,
got-
watering your garden,
Yeah.
watering your plants in the morning, watching the sunrise, feeding the birds, you know, whatever it is. And they have, you know, the bullet points real quick is stay active, take it slow, stay in flow, don't rush, don't fill your stomach too much. Yeah,
Was it 80%, wasn't it?
80%. Surround yourself with good friends. Get in shape for your next birthday. So that's a goal that they have. Smile here and now. Reconnect with nature. So in and around nature. Give thanks. So gratitude on a daily basis. Live in the moment. Roger, Jordan Peak, Jules, all these people are saying this thing. And follow your ikigai. So your passion, your talent, your destiny, what it is that you enjoy. And real quick, a phrase that I took out of the book, which I love, is Ichigo Ichi-e, which basically means this moment right now here will never be again. It's here and now, and then it's gone, and we're on to the next moment. And I just think it's, you know, super important. That, so yeah, the Ikigai stuff, I took loads out of that book, and the 5 a.m. Club, very, very similar, with a lot of bullet points that I'm not going to have time to run over them. But just for me, you know, having a ritual and a habit of something that you enjoy doing, enjoying the passage of time, allows you to fulfill things that you enjoy. So we're sitting here and we just enjoy it, you know. And the book recommendation thing that we're doing, the Pass the Book, is reaching the guests that we've got, and both me and you, as we've seen, we've passed each other books. You're reading Lost Connections, I've read Ikigai and 5 a.m. Club, and this is going to be continuous circle of learning. And there's books like the books that we got today for the next guest, I've never even heard of them.
Yeah, neither have I.
But I'm going to dip into them, and I'm going to have a read. And like we were saying before, and one of the messages that we've got was from somebody who watched the podcast where the book recommendation was Alchemist. I think it was with Roger. But anyway, the message read as, I have just finished reading The Alchemist off the back of listening to Jacky and Pete's podcast. Oh my God, the best book I've read in a long time. So heartwarming and inspiring. I loved it. And I have just passed the book to my mum. And she also said, I feel like it's one of those books that's come at a time you need it. And it was perfect timing for me to read it. It spoke to my soul, honestly.
Wow.
So for me, a really powerful message. And again, just piggybacking off what we was talking about there real briefly, and our intentions and hope for what this Uber car's going to do, what we visualize and what we would like for it to do. Hearing messages like that, which is why I've read it out, and what it's happening with the guests, and what we're learning is it reaching out there and people gaining something from this intellectual property, not something physical, intellectual property for the soul, relatability, connection. So reconnecting with a disconnect is something that we're trying to build into this platform. And
well, that takes me on straight
fingers
to the,
crossed it's
to the
gonna
Lost
do that.
Connections, reconnecting. Yeah, because I haven't had a chance to finish them, but I'm halfway through
You're doing
Lost
well.
Connections. You know, we've spoke.
busy.
I've been very busy, and it's been quite a stressful few weeks actually recently. So trying to find time to read is difficult, but I am doing it. We've got Lost Connections from Yuval Harari, and we had The Myth of Normal. Gabor Mate. Wow. So we haven't got much time, so I'm gonna kind of paraphrase both of them, but Lost Connections and The Myth of Normal talk about trauma, childhood trauma, and how it affects you in later life in terms of mental health, physical health, and your environmental, how the environment affects you as you grow. And Lost Connections about how we are missing we have lost connections over millennia, and we are at a point in human history where we have really high rates of all these illnesses, which potentially could be reduced by connection,
Yeah.
being with other people and reconnect them with other humans. And it's exactly what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do with the social club on the Saturday morning breakfast and ice bath. Just something simple can grow so beautifully. So let's see where that goes. But in terms of that, we haven't got much more time to go over the books, but that's pretty much all I've got for today, mate.
No.
Anything else to cover?
No, that's it. And again, we've had to squeeze it in to this time of an hour, but there's so much more notes and things on the books. And the one thing that I would say is it's this, like you always say, it's a vacuum. It's like this vacuum of just synchronicities of things and elements that we know that when you see them on a video on YouTube or you see someone famous talking about it, we're now bringing it into a localized level.
Yep.
And in a localized level, then now we're creating a community. So with Bear Chat, and we touch over it real briefly, is we have some ideas for later on down the line about forming a community within the Bear Chat community that's going to be open. It's completely open to anybody who's involved in the community that wants to jump into potentially a Telegram group or a broadcasting channel and sharing books, sharing recommendations, sharing positive quotes for the day or the week, sharing hardships. You know, me and you have not touched over today some of the hardships we've been through just in this past 2 weeks alone. We're not always going to be just talking about, you know, the stuff that's really great, although this episode is focusing on what we've learned from guests. But make no mistake, me and you are going to be covering still our hardships as we go along, because it's a day, you know, living is not easy all the time, you know. And when we share about our hardships, it inspires other people to do the same as well, and we learn from that as well. So yeah, you know, for me, so much learning from them books. So I'm grateful for your recommendations, and I'm going to continue to keep reading and learning. So let's see where the next 10 episodes go.
We'll do
another review again.
Episode 20, yeah.
Yeah, let's see what the community do. See what the community say, and whatever they suggest, we will do. We're servants. We're in the Uber.
Well, let's see where the Uber goes.
We'll just you change the destination, and we'll put it in on the smartphone that we don't want to be looking at.
All right, on that, well, thanks everyone. Appreciate it.
Big love.
Nice one, brother.
Yeah, man.
In a bit.
Okay.